Old man is
Good.
looking great, man. Old
Yeah,
man is
thank
looking
you.
fantastic.
I'm on week 6 right now, so it's a lot of work. It was like
This is the most volume you're doing in your training cycle, so to speak. So next week is a deload for you, right?
I might pick up a few weights here and there, but for the most part, I think I'm just gonna take it easy because I'm traveling to LA, so I'll see you in LA, and then I'll be back on Thursday. So I don't even know if I'm gonna work out in LA. I might, but
I'm telling you, brother, at your level, you're so advanced. That's a perfect deload. Perfect.
yeah.
You take almost like a more than half a week completely off, stay active, then you do a nice little 1/3 of the volume for next few days, and then you jump back to week one. People who have never tried it, they have no idea. We have all this mentality, grind, grind, grind. Oh, are you working as hard as the other guy? Next
Yeah.
thing you know, you look at the individual, he looked just exactly the same the last time you saw him 2 years ago in some gym.
You don't know
Never
how many
changed.
times I'm talking to a training partner.
Mhm.
He's new to the gym, so he's always looking around, like in between sets and stuff.
Yes.
And he's always like, "What are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing?" Because like a lot of these guys look busy, like running from machine to machine, they're pushing and stuff. But I'm like, look at them, just look at them. They look like shit.
You know what? It's usually a good problem to have. It's much easier to make someone who's a hard worker work less than someone who's extremely lazy work harder. When someone is in that constant grinding motion day after month, week after week, just
Yeah.
totally drop everything. Sure, you're gonna get a little detrained. Yes, of course, you're gonna get a little more flat.
What do you mean
Um,
by detrain?
Basically, your body will completely rested. You will be good to go. It will be kind of almost like a new sensation. After a very low volume workout, I guarantee you the next day you're gonna feel pretty good inflammation, on the major muscle groups.
I haven't really experienced that with the new program because it seemed to like ease in so nicely. Everything just seemed to ease in and then boom, and then
I,
ease
I,
in.
I, was, I was speaking more of someone who's continuously grinding like for a year, and then
Yeah.
they take like a 2 weeks off, right?
Oh, I see.
As with everything else, and nutrition as well, regardless how you manipulate it, body has a tendency to balance itself out, right? This is called homeostasis. So body loves that. For example, you eat too much potassium. The salt potassium pump will balance itself quickly. They say, oh, don't eat salt. It's bad for you. It's terrible. You're gonna be retaining water or whatnot. No, if you're a generally healthy individual, there is no problem with salt because your body will be, just
Yeah, you'll
balancing,
just piss
balancing
it
it
out
out.
if there's too much.
Exactly. The same goes with what we're trying to achieve in the gym, right? Weightlifting, right? If you keep on doing the same thing over and over, you'll be very fit. You will be very well trained, and but your workouts, you will feel that you're working out, right? Because you are. But the results will just not come
Right.
because you're so well
Adapted?
crafted. Yeah, adapted. Perfect word, adaptation, right?
Yeah.
You're so well adapted to the same routine that your body doesn't know how to respond to it. See, for example, you go every week, you have your chest workout twice a week, and every week you do bench press, incline, pec deck, or the flies,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the same thing on and on and on. After about close to failure, 3 sets bench, 3 sets incline, 3 sets flies, and you keep on doing it, your body will just adapt to it. You won't be gaining much.
I have to change it up just for my brain, like, this is more than just working out. As a lot of it's like for my mental capacity to,
Yes, but and that is you. That is you, my brother. But
yeah.
let's face it. You're very well advanced. I mean, you're so advanced in this craft. You can see the changes. You last two and a half plus years. You just keep on doing this progressive overload through volume, and you never stop. Right? So you forgot about the good old days, right?
I was doing a lot, man. I was doing like
Yeah.
2 body parts a day, but 4 sets apiece. The results were not even close to
Mm-hmm.
what I've achieved. I'm in the best shape of my life by far.
Oh, you're
And I've been
fantastic.
training for 20 some odd years. I didn't know what I was doing, you know? And
Well, you kind of knew what you were doing for those. I remember for 20, you kind of knew. I mean, you perform exercise in the right manner. You did your pressing and whatnot, but you were doing the same thing nonstop.
yeah,
Before we
yeah,
start, going back to the fundamentals, and obeying the number one rule, which is progressive overload. Are you going to progress through volume? Are you going to progress through intensify techniques like a cluster sets or drop sets? You have to do something to keep on adding to it, right? Obviously, we're talking our audience and people that we have helped in the past. These dudes are all 40 plus years old. Okay, we had a few like in the late 30s, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
you cannot make them grind heavy. Doesn't make sense.
I think the foundation of where people learn to train is in high school because every dude at 16 wants to get laid and the hot chicks are only having sex with the dudes with abs. I'm like less concerned now with why or how people started and more like I'm just glad you're there. My pastor,
Mhm.
he basically said something along the lines of like, I don't care how I get them to church, as long as I get them there,
Correct.
Christ will do the rest.
Correct.
And
That
and
is such
and
a wonderful, beautiful statement. Yes.
it's so true, and I just always like that. And it's Lent, so not
Exactly.
we
It's
gotta
Ash
we gotta bring up
Wednesday.
faith. We gotta bring up faith on
Of course.
on Lent.
Most important thing. You'll
But
help
I
help
just
us.
think there's so many parallels as I get deeper into faith. Now I'm starting to get more educated on it, but it's like it's good. It's
That was the first correction I made for you. In those days, Jay Cutler was a king, right?
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
And all the magazines in those days, remember, like they were all bro splits, like arm day, chest day, back day, shoulder day. Remember that? And you kind of fallen for that. I mean, as we all did, right? I already knew that push pull legs is way more productive than bro splits once per day. Remember, we changed that. You
yeah,
recall
yeah,
we
yeah,
started doing the push pull legs, right?
yeah,
And then I
yeah,
remember, and then if you recall, we used to do chest biceps, back triceps. We did that, and we
yeah,
did shoulder. Remember that? And we did
yeah,
shoulder legs, and
yeah.
then we did 3-1, 3-1, 3-1. I remember that. 3 days in, 1 day off. I remember that. Then you make a good leap forward.
Nothing like this. You've gotten a lot smarter.
It's all trial and error, brother. You know that.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's true. That's just 20 years of trial and error.
Correct. Fitness journey. It's a long journey, and we are doing it for a lifetime. Me and you combined, we're more like 60 years to combine.
I mean, I've been training for
Oh,
20, well, not 25, 20,
well,
but definitely since I was 15.
you have to count that because your experience starts from the beginning, right?
My grandmother bought me a bench and free weights. It was called the block, and it was a block, and you would remove the pin,
Hmm.
and then you'd put it on 5 pounds or 10 pounds or 20 pounds. And I followed the routine that came with the package, upper body, lower body, like an upper body day,
Okay.
lower body day. And there was one
Yeah.
exercise for each.
Full body split as well as upper lower makes absolute sense on certain levels, right? Early 40s, you have to approach very carefully with people like that, right? You have to give them a really good little measure with a very little volume and what would I consider minimum frequency, which would be about 3 times per week. I mean, sure, you can have some results with going to the gym 2 times per week. You will eventually have results, yes. Now we are talking about building someone from the scratch to make sure that his results are obvious and visible within next 2 years.
And one of the biggest things that's overlooked is like this easing in because we're not throwing in like very slow and it doesn't get, people don't get deterred. They don't get like, oh, You know, because like when I was training JD, I was afraid if he got sore, he was going to want to take a day off, and then one day off leads to 2 days off, leads to 3 days off. Our program eased people back in.
Ease them in with the best cost to benefit ratio. That's the most important thing. Remember, we used to laugh about this one. If you don't have to run, walk.
Yeah.
If you don't have to walk, sit. If you don't have to sit, lie down. Why doing extra of something hoping it will produce results? We're kind of using the term overtrain loosely in this connotation, right? So it's not like a real overtrain.
You can say whatever you want. Nobody listens to this stuff, so we can say whatever we want.
Why doing extra if it's not productive? You'll be much better off doing some cardio other than doing some extra 5 sets or whatever you do. Well, look, I'm guilty. I'm not doing it at all. I mean, because I'm just doing it. I'm just doing it on a finishing phases on my thing, or when I want to get real shredded or really cut. The way I set up my diet is just very simple. People who jump into severe calorie restriction, weightlifting, cardio, everything, boom, they throw the entire kitchen sink, right? I mean, in about 3-4 weeks, you're gonna be starting feeling pretty bad. But why use all your tools right away if you don't have? Okay, I give you a task. Here is a nail. I want to put the nail in the wall, and you're gonna tell me, well, Drago, get me a hammer. I said, here, Matthew, and you're gonna do it, right?
Yeah.
Or if I tell, hey, Drago, I have this nail, I want to put it in the wall, and I bring you the hammer, the truck, the caterpillar machine, I bring you everything else. Here you go. And you're going to look at me, well, you're an idiot. I don't need all that. So what I'm saying is, let's say, for example, it's a cutting phase. It's a diet, right?
Yeah.
You start with a little calorie restriction. When you see roughly how many calories you need to break even, you cut about 500 calories, maybe 600 calories tops, and that's how you start.
Which is like 2 Snickers bars for people.
People are surprised when they come to me and ask me, okay, I want to cut, I need a diet plan, I know what I'm doing, I'm working out, so forth and so on. They're surprised when I sit down with them and we calculate their calories, because they're always coming to me with a story. Oh my God, I don't eat more than 2,200 calories per day. Oh, never. I'm still losing weight. Brother.
Yeah.
Well, usually when they tell you I'm eating only about 2,200 calories, in most cases, more like 32. All right. Because, they have no idea how many calories are,
Well, no, you had that story you told me a long time ago about the cream in your coffee.
Exactly.
You couldn't see your abs, and then you said, "Wait a minute, I've been putting cream in my coffee. What the fuck?"
Yeah. And next thing you know, when I finally, if you want to be successful in your diet, the number one tool that everybody must have, it's a little food scale. Because once you start measuring your food and you realize, wow, I didn't know this is this much or this is that much. You look at the serving size and you think, yeah, it's 1 ounce. And people have a wrong idea what 1 ounce is.
Are you supposed to weigh your food before you cook it? Because when you cook it, you cook some of the fat out. Do you weigh before or after? I never knew. I always weigh before because I always try to do worst case scenario.
That's exactly the right way to think about things. When I calculate my daily calories, right, I used to have like a little notepad. You know what I mean? Like a classic notepad.
Oh man, now they have this app. It's like they have these multiple apps that just make it so freaking easy, Drago. So, and you know what else you can do? You can do it with a buddy. So you can email them at the end of the day, it'll email them what you ate and what you tracked. So it's like just one more way to kind of keep you accountable. But what people don't notice or realize about counting calories, it adds a little bit of work, sure. But you also start to eat differently because you have to count it. So you eat like, you're not like, I can't eat this casserole because I have no idea what's in it. I started to eat different foods because it was easier to count.
You understand that there is more one way to skin the cat. You understand that everybody is different on every level. So what works for you, whatever people are saying, if it works for you, keep on doing it, baby. Keep on. The reason, I am old. Okay, let's face it. But that is not the reason why I'm still doing the notepads. I'm doing the regular post-its. I have million of post-its around, like a post notes, right?
Yeah.
And I like to put them either where the weight scale is or with the fridge. And I like to record it because it's such an embedded routine. It's almost
Yeah.
it's almost like a prayer to Jesus. It's almost like every day I pray like within myself 30, 100 times. Whenever I remember, I do it, right?
Yeah.
Why would I do it? It just keeps on reminding me
Yeah.
what is my path in life and what do I want to achieve and how I'm going to get there and what is the best way to do it.
Well, that's a
Prove it.
really good segue because
Mhm.
when we were talking earlier and it being Lent, we
Mhm.
kind of mentioned like faith and fitness, right? It's kind of like become much the both of them have become much bigger parts of my life. I just see so many parallels to faith
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and the gym and fitness, the delayed gratification, the faith that you got to go in there and destroy your body, and there's lots of pain, good pain, burn and whatnot. You don't see anything for months.
Sure. And furthermore, that is such a good outlook on you understand that this thing is here for you until the day you die. This is not a quick fix. This is a way of life. This is
Yeah,
the way of continuous way of self-improvement. You are never satisfied. You will never be satisfied. I understand that. Neither would I. Why? Because we
yeah,
know we are sinners. We know we are bad. We understand that. We just ask for forgiveness. We try to repent, and we're doing with lots of humility because it is ongoing struggle. It's just going on and on and on, and you have to live that lifestyle. Like you said, we were talking earlier, as you mentioned, about Lent and about fasting and how to address that issue. If you're going to the gym, obviously you need lots of protein, right? You meat, red meat, and whatnot. And you're not supposed to do all these things while Lent. The whole point of fast is not how strict it is. Oh, you should never eat this or never eat that or whatever. That's not the whole point. The point is that you are aware if you're doing your best, but you're doing that throughout the entire year. We were
yeah,
talking about gluttony, how people you never eat fast food ever, so you're on continuous Lent. It makes sense for somebody who's hanging out in McDonald's, Taco Bell, whatever you name it, and then stop by Dunkin' Donuts and take a dirty dozen of those chocolate covered sugar and shovel it in the mouth. Oh boy, you really need to go on 40-day fast plus whatever.
yeah. I think
Still,
I think the
water.
food aspect of it. I think yes, food is a big factor, and that's one of Satan's favorite tool. For us, we have to fast something that's different than food. The whole point of fasting is to suffer so you can get closer to God. And if restricting my food intake isn't suffering for me, it's just kind of like who I am. I just don't eat a lot of food.
You don't need to stuff your face to be happy.
Matthew 6:16, where he does talk about fasting, and it's more about doing it genuinely. It's more about highlighting internal discipline than it is about, eating red meat or white meat or yellow meat or whatever. It's more about what do I need to discipline myself in,
You
and
see,
that's where I need to focus.
those things are only distraction. They can become, oh, don't dare eat this. It's on. Okay, gotcha, fine. But you know what? That's a distraction from the
Yeah,
purpose.
it's just about facing temptation. It's just about, how preparing you to face temptation.
Correct. The whole point of Lent is your fasting, your daily prayer. Obviously, it's multifaceted, right? You
Yeah,
can't just say, "Oh, I'm just gonna fast," right? And I'm good. Well, what is that? That's your ego. That's not faith. That's the devil speaking out of you. Look at how proudful you're. So proud. That's a
yeah.
sin. What you're doing, you're sinful by saying, "Oh, I'm gonna fast for 40 days. I'm not gonna eat anything. I'm just gonna prove to everybody."
It's about spiritual growth through discipline, sacrifice, and reflection.
I know that, as you mentioned, it's a delayed gratification, but
Yeah.
rewards huge. You're simply blessed. It's a journey, and life is too short to walk around in some kind of body that you don't want to. You cannot be this.
Well, I don't think it was God's intention to have us develop our bodies like that. I mean, he created the human body so perfectly. If you think about it, like there's just so many aspects to it that it's prepared for fasting. It's ready to fast. It can
Yes,
handle that. It's like your human growth hormone shoots up and like it starts to, I think it's called autophagy, where it starts to kill all the dead cells. Like there's a lot of
correct.
health
It's a
benefits
topic,
to,
yeah. Mm,
you know,
absolutely, absolutely true.
that's why it drives me nuts when I see these guys on TV, that are yelling and screaming about eating 5, 6 meals a day, or you're gonna lose muscle mass, or muscles
Oh,
will
ridiculous.
liquefy, or
Absolutely
like the
stupid.
body doesn't work that way. If you are a bodybuilder and you're very diligent about getting your protein in, but you still maybe struggle with food a little bit, so fasting from food would help you tremendously get closer to God. It would definitely challenge you. It would definitely, put you in a place where you need to face your demons. What would you suggest?
I would suggest that you do exactly what you think it's the right thing to do. If you think you need to be fasting, go for it. Absolutely, just go for it, because there's so many more benefits of fasting, right? If you're talking about somebody who's on a fitness journey, right,
Yeah.
or kind of amateur bodybuilding, okay, we're not talking about pros now. We're not talking about IFBB, guys with a pro card. No, no, no. Those are aliens. That's a different category. Yeah, those people on 5 grams of gear per week, like 3,000 milligrams of test and whatnot. No, 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 no. We are talking about us. We're talking about
Yeah.
normal people. I mean, normal, fit, well built individuals. And you can call me a bodybuilder. I certainly look way better than 90%. I can call me, oh, are you a bodybuilder? No, I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm just a
Well, I consider myself a bodybuilder. I mean, I'm
well,
not
okay, but
competing, but so yeah, well, let's call each other bodybuilders. Fuck
for
it.
for us fasting, it's extremely beneficial.
Yeah.
What would you say there, Drago? But this is what I would say. The most amount of growth hormone, it's naturally released during sleep while fasting, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
growth hormone by itself, it's only released while you're fasting. The guys, they somehow get their hands on a AGH and they're shooting a couple of units AGH and they're eating junk and they say, or they're eating, oh, I heard it's going to make me leaner, or it's going to cook. No, brother. It's like throwing it in a toilet. It's throwing it in the trash. Anytime, like insulin is probably the most powerful hormone in a human body. So when insulin is present in your blood, it defeats everything else. Like growth hormone doesn't stand a chance. Like insulin will kick it out. Boom, get out of here, brother. They're just gonna knock it out. Boom. You're
Yeah.
just gonna bury it. It's non-existent, right?
Right.
Every time you eat something, your insulin level spikes up. Depends on the food, your pancreas will release accordingly, right? Any kind of carbohydrates, that's it. Boom. Insulin, you flooded, right?
Yeah.
Fats, no. Protein, a little bit, yes. But once you have a high insulin levels in your blood, there is no point. I mean, you can use as much growth hormone as you want. It's just not going to work, right? Now, way for us who are not using growth hormone, you can increase your levels of natural production of growth hormone dramatically just by fasting, especially while you sleep. Simple as that. God, who has created the creator, he
Yeah.
created he's perfect.
Yeah.
Jesus is perfect.
Yeah.
There is no arguing there. He had created such a complex body as we humans are,
Yeah.
right? Do you think that in the olden days, when they were lying in the caves out there, right? Like a bunch of, Neanderthals lying in the caves. There was no fridge, there is no Snickers bar, there is no Amazon delivery, there is no protein shake, there is no Quest, there is no this, there is no that, there is nothing. And
Hmm.
there's a winter time, and you're hungry out there, you have nothing to eat. Do you think that body will just burn your muscle just like that? Burn? Are you out of your mind? You need that muscles. Once you see that animal walking in front of your cave, you want to be able to run after with your spear to kill it so you can eat it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And for that activity, your body needs to preserve muscle tissue, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's happening? All this story. Oh, if you start fasting, lose all your muscles. Oh, that's absolute nonsense.
Yeah, yeah, no,
It's
it's
you know,
unfortunate because like my church does a prayer and fasting twice a year, where for 2 weeks that's what we do. We go to the church every morning and pray. And it's you should come actually.
oh,
You know what?
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I'm coming. Yes, yes.
It's an experience. I don't know how else to say it. But my pastor was telling me that dudes will come up to him, be like, "Oh man, I don't know if I can fast for 2 weeks. Like I'm gonna lose all these gains." You know,
You're
and
not
and
gonna.
I just said that's just not the case, man. It's just,
You are definitely going to lose the volume.
well,
These
yeah, because
muscles,
the glycogen is gonna be gone,
correct.
right?
The glycogen will be depleted. You're gonna look a little rather flat. Most of your muscle growth, right? Most of it is actually what they call sarcoplasmic. Sarcoplasmic muscle growth meaning all this volumizing effect, all that blood, that liquid, that is not a real lean muscle fiber, right? When you take that
Yeah,
muscle fiber, looks more like let's say a good juicy steak, right?
yeah,
You take that steak, you put it out, salt and pepper, right? It's big, thick like this, right?
yeah.
Then you put it on a grill, you put whatever you're gonna do with it, I don't know, fry, whatever. What's going to happen? It's gonna shrink.
To shrink.
Correct,
Yeah.
right? Well, that's kind of the analogy that you might use for somebody being on a diet, right? Now that thing is loaded, it's full of water, whatnot. You go on diet, you shrink that thing, and then you can see like the real lean muscle, just the muscle itself, right? Without this sarcoplasm around it, right?
Yeah.
So fasting can be a very good thing even for somebody who's amateur bodybuilder. You are not going to lose muscle by eating, a little less than it's absolutely mandatory to eat 5. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
These dudes
Yeah.
who are eating every 2 hours. Why? What are you doing? That's just not the way to go. Again, we make a clear distinction. I'm not talking about these bodybuilding pros, right?
Yeah, they're on their own.
They're in their own world, right? And
They're in
we
their
all
own
know
world.
that requires enormous amount of, you name it.
Calories.
Well, not only that, I'm talking about PEDs, right? I'm
Oh
talking,
yeah.
you require tons of, anabolic steroids, to growth hormone, insulin, whatever hell they're using in that combination. They throw everything inside that box, and then they have to feed themselves. They're like a cattle. They just try to grow, 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 grow. If you think that's your life path, anyone can do that. That's kind of like a body modification, so to speak. That's why we'll never be a sport, because we know that we can get there. We know that, right? To
Yeah.
that level, right? Now, can you be? Well, probably not, because these people are genetic elite on top of everything else. So they're genetic elite. So there's this 1% of weirdos that are amongst us, right? And you put that 1%er
On gear and then boom.
on gear and on everything under the sun, and the outcome is monster, like a cartoon character, right?
Yeah.
But
Which
that
I
is
love. I love it. I love it.
oh, I
Good for
love
them.
seeing it. Oh yeah, oh my
Yeah.
god, of course I love seeing it. I admire it because I know how much work it takes to get there, and dedication, like
Oh yeah.
you
Yeah.
how many of those people, they have the opposite problem. They cannot eat anymore because they're eating non-stop like that. They
Yeah.
cannot consume physical any more food.
Well, it
Especially
was interesting because like I've never done a crazy bulk, but it was interesting to hear Sam Sulek say that like after a few months, he's so tired of eating food. He's ready to cut, So and I never thought about that. But yeah, it's like if you are like just constantly eating with the sole purpose of growing your muscles, so you're constantly looking at your physique, constantly like putting on weight, and obviously you're putting on fat with that. It's got to be uncomfortable, man.
obviously, kid is a genetic elite, hands down, no problem. He is very well educated. Somebody has taught him well. All these stories that he's trial and error, that's nonsense. Because nobody that young can be on such an intelligent level for certain lifting or for attitude overall. So he has some coaching. Maybe we don't know. He said he doesn't have coach. I guarantee you he has a very good coach. You see? And then people who don't know, they just don't know. They're not sophisticated enough. They think they know things about it. No, you don't know nothing, brother. You can make a TikTok video or Instagram and go, oh, no. You're nonsense. Doesn't work.
Yeah.
Unlike those people who and those people are usually the one to criticize the kid. Oh my God, he's eating donuts. He's drinking chocolate milk. He's eating fast food. Well, let me tell you this. The kid, obviously, the way he is, standing in that huge frame, whatever PED is, I really don't care about it. But just think about his energy intake that he has to simply accomplish to get there, to keep on growing, right?
Yeah.
It will be extremely hard to accomplish that by eating clean food. I mean, how much chicken breast and broccoli you can consume to reach 5,000 calories? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then what they do, obviously, they revert to the high density calorie food, like I don't know, Big Mac, perfect example, right? Or whatever he eats, like donuts, right? Why? Because the thing is so calorie dense, it's so loaded that he can shovel it, and he's okay.
Lee Priest would take a pint of ice cream, put it in the refrigerator, so it got nice and soft, and then and there's 1,000 calories. In like 20 seconds.
Oh my God. There was a bodybuilder in the 90s, and I think he's still around. It was a German man. His name was Markus Rühl. Oh my God, it's absolute beast. I remember that was the most disgusting thing anyone can do ever. Now just think about it. He takes a blender and he puts tuna inside. Tuna meat, he blends it with a tomato juice, tomato juice. It's a disgusting thing. It looks disgusting. And he's drinking that, like that. He's drinking that. It's just sick. That's disgusting, man. It's horrible. But I understand. That's a tool. That's a tool that he's using. Well, you know what? We're doing the same thing on our level. I know when you make your sludge with cottage cheese or something, if you show that to the regular individual, they will look at you, oh my God, it's disgusting. How can you eat that? Where's the flavor? Where's the palate? How do I satisfy my taste bud? In your mind, you're thinking this, 40% of protein, 3 grams of fat, 5 grams carb. That's your mind.
Yeah.
See, their mind is how does it taste? Am I happy? I want to be happy. I want to drool. Matthew's mind, what is the calorie value? What is the breakdown of macronutrients? How much protein, how much fat, how much carb? That's how you think. So it's a totally different mindset. We're just going back in a circle.
100%.
We're going back in the circle what we spoke earlier, right? You use your food. I'm sure everybody likes to eat. I like to eat myself. We all do. It's absolutely normal because it's essential. If you don't eat, you will die, right? So it's a very difficult urge to control.
Yeah.
However, we also are self-aware and we're on a different path, and that's it.
But how do you keep them motivated? For me, the motivation's there. For you, it's a way of life. It's a part of life. For probably people watching or if they watch, they didn't make it this far, I promise you. But
you just have to convince them by giving self-example to them, right? I will tell you a personal story, very personal story.
Yeah.
It was 2011. There was no gym in a hotel. However, if you're a hotel guest, just around the corner, it was I believe it was 24-hour fitness or whatever. It was one of those chain gyms, right? I went down to have a little, pool session, chin-ups, like some biceps, whatnot. I was pretty skinny then. I wasn't very happy with my body at all. I was lean, but way too small, right? And when you are lean and way too small, I don't want to look like that. When somebody comes to me and tells me, oh my God, he has abs. Oh, what else does he have?
Yeah.
If you have abs and you have 2 pencils sticking out from your shirt without any size, any shoulder, you're that's nothing.
A skinny guy with abs is like a fat girl with tits. It's just not,
Perfect
you know,
saying, brother.
it's just not
A
impressive.
skinny, a skinny guy with abs is like a fat chick with big tits.
Yeah,
This doesn't say much. Anyone
yeah,
can do that,
yeah.
right? However, I wasn't happy. I visioned myself like that, like skinny with some, little shreds here and there. So going back to my story, I had this quick workout, and there was this, well, it wasn't really a kid. It was like a mid-20s, right? And he was kind of walking around, looking around, and I noticed that he wanted to, chat with me a little bit. And I tell him, well, this is my routine. I go, push pull. He looked at me and he said, man, he said, I don't want to match. He said, I want to look just like you. He said, he said, I would be so happy if I look just like you. He told me that, right? It didn't came across as some kind of extra compliment, right? He just mentioned that, like, that's what I want. Like, this is what I want.
Yeah.
I said, okay, okay. And then after that, I was thinking about it. In my head, I said to me, oh my God, I look like shit. And this kid is telling me I want to look just like you, right?
Yeah.
And then I look and say, well, yeah, that's a trap that I fell into because I forgot that just by showing intent and being consistent with your work and training routine, results will come. They will show. And you will be way ahead of average individual out there who doesn't do anything. You'll be like miles ahead,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
For somebody, you are a Greek god now. And I know you experience that, right? For someone, for that dude, or I know many guys who, oh my God, I want just to look just like Matthew. Yeah, I know. For some of them, you are already there. They want to look like you. That's the best way to convince them, to give an example by doing it, right?
Hmm.
Regardless of age, right? I go to
Hmm.
the gym and I have like 20-year-old teenage kids come to, oh my God, you look great. And I tell them how old I am. They're like shocked.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You're shocked. But guess what? Eventually, I gave someone some kind of, uh, example, motivation. What can you do, right?
Yeah.
People think that, oh my God, my life is done at 50 years. Bullshit. I'm gonna look my best, right? I'm gonna look better and better. Now, obviously, well, I have a doubt. I'm probably gonna die after coming back from the gym. Well, yeah, you know what? It would be nice to die on the gym anyway. So what the hell?
Yeah. But you know
He
what?
passed away by working out, at the old
Yeah.
age, from the old age and working out. So
Yeah.
what I'm
But you know
saying
what?
here,
You're gonna look good. So who gives a shit, you know?
exactly. You know what? Who cares? I'm gonna be looking good even dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is, yeah, as long as you keep your focus there and you keep them, grinding it, the results will come. And then once you see the first set of results, then you're gonna be asking for more. The way
Then you're
you're
hooked. And that's where like I see the biggest parallel between, and I
exactly.
bring it back to faith, is like when you pray and pray and pray and nothing's happening, and then you turn around and oh, it happened. Then you kind of dive right in. But it's almost like they make you pay for it first,
And you
like
exactly, and then
you
you
gotta
sink,
earn it,
and then you sink deep, right? And then you sink deep, and then you realize how little you know,
Because like
right?
my buddy is like I'm like, oh, you've been bit by the bug. He's like, I don't want to miss a day. I don't want to miss a day. But
That is
my
true, right?
rebuttal is like my response is we're gonna be doing this the rest of our lives. If you miss a day or two, okay, that's fine. Can't miss three. Not three in a row. Not unless it's a deload week. But my point is, like, I'm just fucking around. But my point is, like, if you make it a way of life, missing a day or two, it's fine because it's just, you're gonna go right back. Um, But
It's fine, and we are perfectly aware of it. Why? Because you have already reached the highest level of self-awareness and desire to self-improve. For me, working out is just like putting the shoes in the morning when I
brushing
walk out.
teeth, yeah,
Brushing,
yeah.
it's exactly, I just think of it exactly the same way. I don't think of any different except brushing, putting the shoes, putting my clothing, and guess what? That routine, I'm gonna also, work out. That's just a normal thing for me. That's just how it is.
I get up early, man. I wake up at 4:15 or
Oh,
not
I know, I
4:15,
know.
4:45, 5:15-ish. And then I read the Bible and I pray. I get into the word.
Mm-hmm.
And then I make breakfast for my daughter. Um, and then she tells me she hates it, and then I go to the gym. And then I start my day, you know?
Exactly. So,
But it's just like a part of the thing, it's like a part of the routine. And it's interesting because that makes the rest of my day a little hectic because like the first part of my day is so structured and like, and now I'm trying to actively structure the rest of my day. I'm trying to approach more of things in life like I approach the gym.
correct, because you're evolved now. You understand how things must be done. Nothing will happen if you skip one time. Nothing will happen. Two times, like three times, four times.
Yeah,
Something
yeah,
will start to stink. All right, something
yeah.
will be stinking. Not in a real, but deep inside your memory, you are missing something. Something is not right.
It's interesting because the most recognition you get at the gym is from other guys.
Correct. Yes.
This is probably where some guys feel most appreciated because they got their boys coming up to them being like, "Oh yeah, man, I see that bicep vein. Oh shit, they had. Oh look, you added another plate. Look at you. It's like
You
it's
know what?
it's a
You're
special
just,
place, dude.
you know, if you're
But don't do
developed,
it for women because I don't think women care. I really don't. I think they care like they want someone presentable, but as far as like uh as far as like uh the levels that we go to, the levels that we want personally, and I don't think it matters.
it does definitely add to the spouse's love for you and the quality of your marriage.
I do still wake up with shoulder pain, and I think it's when I sleep on it. Because I
Well,
have a
as I
shoulder
see,
injury, if anyone's listening.
you went through enormous trauma, and you should be truly an example of somebody who's ultra dedicated to the work and everything else, because what you went through with your shoulder injury and that horrible, terrible surgery and the screws and everything, some people will give up, and you didn't. And look at your shoulders now, like two round cannonballs. Why? You never gave up. You had faith. You
Yeah.
believe in yourself. You work hard. Work when it was hard. You work. You work. You work. You corrected that handicap. Some people will cry handicap until the rest of your life. But no, you didn't. Through your strength, through emotional intelligence, you fought your way back from absolutely horrible, devastating, career ending disability injury that many individuals will never recover from. They will have a handicap sign on every single parking lot out there. I can't move my. No, you never gave up. You work and you work and you work. You corrected the disbalance. Then you start correcting the range of motion.
I have to talk more like that to
Yeah,
Katya because I
I
gotta
mean,
let her, like
didn't
you gotta tell these stories, even
well,
though
didn't
for
she ask you? I mean, didn't she ask you, Dad, what's your scar that big out? Did
yeah, and
she
I
ask
told
you
her what happened, but I didn't tell her, like all
that
the
you had a
pain that I go
horrible
through.
shoulder?
But I do complain about it sometimes, like because it does hurt. Like last night I woke up like needling and
You
I think
know,
because I slept on it.
your shoulders look so impressive. They're better than 99% of people that walk in this country now. They're alive. Not to your age, but they're alive. You have better shoulders than. But what I'm saying here, what you
I
have
still
done,
can't do a lat spread.
Well, I know, but you have proven that. I mean, look. I mean, you went for someone who's a handicap from life to somebody who's very mobile. Like your shoulder mobility is now pretty close. I mean, I know you cannot do certain things, but visually you're even. And I know that there are certain angles that you can. I know you can. It's impossible to, but you are almost there. You're almost there. I mean,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
do almost everything that a person your age can do, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not gonna do behind the head presses because you're gonna. I cannot do it myself, and I never had a shoulder injury yet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
are definitely perfect.
It's only okay, like I notice if I sleep on it, I'll wake up and it'll be pretty painful. But and it's the lat spread. It's me trying to do a lat spread. I cannot fucking it I can do it. It's just very painful. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I cannot do it. But when I attempt to do it, it's extremely painful to put my hand behind my back like that and up high like that. I mean, I'm not ever gonna compete. But I
Good.
just would like to see them, because I do work hard on them. But it is what it is.
It's never too late. They have that 65 plus. You can jump in and take a victory.
Yeah, 20 years from now, I'll be banging away.
65 plus, man. You're gonna be like.
Oh, fuck, I'm getting tired. But that's
I
awesome,
think you're waking up early, and it's about time for us to finish this. Let's finish this. It's 8 o'clock.
Well, this was definitely a different format.
Different format, correct?
So we'll see.
Just a chat.
Yeah, just a fireside chat.
Exactly.
But no, it's always nice talking to you. It's always nice seeing you.
Brother,
we'll get better at these.
I love you.
Time goes.
And of course, we always improve. Train well, brother. Stay humble.
All right.
Stay
All
strong.
right, my friend. I love you, I'll talk to you later.
Honor, brother. God
Strength
bless.
and honor. Yeah, God bless.
Strength and honor. Talk to you later.
Okay, sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.